Hi, what do you guys think of my new channel art? Please like and leave a comment. Also, if you like my videos, please share them with your friends. Today it's time for another Swedish scary story, and I have some more cryptid stories coming up. Now, come and sit by the fire, because now it's story time. Something has been following me for more than 20 years. First of all, before I share my experiences, I want to point out that this isn't made up. I'm not very comfortable talking about the events that have taken place and are still taking place, mostly because I don't believe in ghosts and other paranormal stuff. I write this because I need your help. This story started for me more than 20 years ago. I was around 6 or 7 years old at the time. Me and my family, my mother, father, and little brother, were living in the capital of Sweden, Stockholm. We lived in a fairly big apartment, 2 bedrooms and a sizable living room. Me and my brother shared our room, sleeping in an IKEA bunk bed. I had the top. I can't really recall much of my childhood. Memories are scattered and diluted. I guess that's because I suffered from chronic insomnia. I couldn't sleep because it always felt like someone was watching me. Without sleep, the brain gets slow. Life gets blurry. On top of this, I didn't eat much. Needless to say, I wasn't a happy kid. Always wary, and often home from school. The apartment we lived in was old, from the beginning of the 19th century. Actually, there were 3 bedrooms, not 2. The 3rd bedroom was located between the main hallway leading to my parents' bedroom and the kitchen. We never saw it as a room, since it was very small. My parents told me that the space used to be the maid's chamber. I actually don't know the English word here, but it was a small room where the housemaid lived. In my memory, the room seemed so small that it would hardly fit a bed. On the other hand, people's living conditions weren't the best at the time, especially if you were a housemaid. There was something strange with the natural light in the apartment. It seemed thick, almost like a substance. It would fill the room with a warm, sepia-like color in the daytime, but when it got dark, it got really dark. If a door stood ajar to a room, it was like staring into a black hole. It was compact. I can't explain this, but if there was a lamp lit in a room, it felt like a tiny star on a night sky. I always ran from room to room in the evenings, trying hard not to look into the darkness. And there was this sound, the sound of a small object being dropped and rolling around the floor, almost like if someone dropped a spool. I never talked to my parents about this. The sound of the spool wasn't that scary, and I guess most kids are afraid of the dark. I have 2 extremely vivid memories from this time, and they still give me goosebumps. One night, my parents and my brother went over to our neighbor's apartment. I was by myself in my room, playing with my toys, my back facing the open door. Suddenly, I feel this presence, like someone is watching me. I'm too scared to turn around, so I crawl up into my bunk bed, hiding under the blanket. I just lay there, completely still, until I get so warm I have to make a vent for fresh air. Peeking out from the gap, I can see the light in the room getting brighter and brighter. It's almost like someone is burning a strip of magnesium. Then I hear the crack of the light bulb, and the room is flooded by pitch darkness. A spool drops. At this point, I wet myself. I'm paralyzed for what feels like an eternity. When my parents got home, I told them that the lights went out, and I got scared. The second memory took place only a few days later. It's like a flash memory. I was sprinting from the toilet to the living room. Passing my own room, I see a woman standing by the bunk bed. She is facing the top bed, my bed. She's wearing a dark, long dress. Fast forward 10 years. I'm 16 or 17, and we have moved to a new town. I still suffer from insomnia. It's more like a normal state for me by now. I guess I'm a typical angsty teenager, but with dark circles under my eyes. But I'm not scared of the dark anymore, and I don't hear spools rolling around on the floor. At this time, my grandfather dies. My mother works as an assistant nurse and has a colleague that claims she's a psychic. My mother, who is grieving her father, invites her colleague to our house in an attempt to say some last words to him. The psychic wanders around our house, picks up objects, and tells us that they belong to our grandfather. Actually, it feels like she's guessing, because half of the time she's wrong. It's kind of embarrassing. Then the turn comes to my room. She's looking around the room, fixates her eyes on a corner and says, "There's a woman in this room." At that moment, I felt sick. The others just seem bewildered. Then she asks me with a dreamy voice, almost like she's talking to herself, where the spool went. After that episode, my insomnia got worse for a couple of years. Today my insomnia is almost gone. I have moved again to a new city and a new apartment. I haven't seen or heard anything for years, except for a couple of nights ago. I was laying in bed when I heard a spool sound 5 times. It came from different parts of my apartment, but the last time it sounded like it was right next to my bed. And again I felt this weird presence. I didn't sleep much that night. Is there anything I can do about this? I believe it's the maid. But why is she following me?